We have all heard of instant gratification. Most probably, we all have instances in our life when we've given in to instant gratification by eating some junk food when we're trying to lose weight, or by buying the latest iPhone instead of waiting for a while to get it at a discount. For many people, it is hard to resist this temptation. But as we also all know, postponing gratification to a later moment could make a lot of difference. As a matter of fact, delayed gratification is beneficial for our health, our finances, but also for our career. What is delayed gratification? Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of instant reward, which could be comfort or pleasure, in order to get a more valuable future reward. Overcoming our need or desire for instant gratification has become difficult, as nowadays it has become easier to indulge it. Our modern culture, mainly because of digital advancements, has enabled instant gratification. By delaying gratification instead of giving in to temptation, we hold out in the hopes of getting a better or longer-lasting future reward. There have been many studies on delayed gratification, with the best known one being the Stanford marshmallow experiment led by psychologist Walter Mischel in 1970. In the study, preschool children were offered a choice between one immediate treat, such as a marshmallow, or two treats if they were willing to wait for 15 minutes for the researcher to return. Some of the children took the treat during the 15 minutes of waiting, while others found ways to distract themselves from the treat that was in front of them while waiting for the second one. In follow-up studies, Mischel found a correlation between the children's ability to delay gratification and their success many years later. These and other studies have also identified different factors that influence one's choice for instant or delayed reward. There are 4 factors that I think are worth mentioning. The first factor is the researcher's reliability. A 2012 study divided children into 2 groups before the marshmallow experiment was conducted. One group, the unreliable environment group, was promised rewards like crayons, but the rewards did not materialize. And the second group had a fulfilled promise. The reliable environment group ended up waiting for 4 times longer than the unreliable environment group for the second treat. In other words, the children that didn't trust the researcher chose instant gratification. Another study considered timing as a factor, the duration of the researcher's absence. The group that was told when the researcher would return waited longer than the group that was not. The study showed that when the time at which future outcomes will materialize creates uncertainty, the decision to delay gratification depends on the person's prior beliefs. The best strategy when timing is uncertain is to wait and try for some time and then give in to the available reward. Yet another study found a correlation between one's ability to delay gratification and their visceral state, which means that when people experienced visceral drives, such as hunger, the temptation to give in to instant gratification led to impulsive behavior. In another more recent follow-up study to the marshmallow test, children waited nearly twice as long for a second reward when they were told that their teacher or a peer would find out how long they waited. These children cared more about what people around them value or were better at figuring it out. From these studies, it would appear that the ability to delay gratification may depend, among other factors, on one's self-control abilities, their beliefs about the stability of the world, their temporal beliefs, their current visceral state, and reputation management. For psychologists, delayed gratification is not new. There are 2 principles, the pleasure principle and the reality principle, through which Freud and other psychoanalysts have explained our ability to give in to or to delay gratification. The pleasure or the pleasure-pain principle is one's drive to seek pleasure and avoid pain to fulfill their physiological and psychological needs. The reality principle, on the other hand, is one's ability to assess the reality of their external environment to guide their behavior. The pleasure principle describes instant gratification and the reality principle delayed gratification. Freud has also proposed that the pleasure principle is most active in early life, and over time it is replaced by the reality principle. The pain-pleasure framework is also what Tony Robbins uses in his work on the power of leverage. He says that the 2 forces that motivate people to do what they do are 1, the desire to avoid pain, and 2, the desire to gain pleasure. But of these 2, we're wired to work harder to avoid pain. Some things make us feel pleasure and comfort in the present moment, but these things, while they make us feel good in the present moment, may cost us in the long run. To put it differently, the pleasure that we might feel in the short run by giving into instant gratification is significantly lower than the pain we will feel in the long run. The long-term goals that we set in our life are the reward that we get when we delay gratification. So what we must do is we must learn to link pleasure to delayed gratification, and instead of seeing instant gratification as pleasure, we must see it as the pain of not fulfilling our long-term goals. An example of delayed gratification at work could be when we aim for a promotion in our current company. When we want to go for a promotion, we can assess ourselves what we need in order to get it, and we can also ask our direct supervisor for the requirements of the position and their recommendations as well. Knowing this, we can dedicate some of our work and our time to these new skills. This sometimes means that we need to take time from our evenings or our weekends to make it happen, which means we have to spend less time doing other favorite activities like watching TV. Knowing that at the end of this time period, once we fulfill the requirements for our promotion, increases our chances of getting it, makes us more motivated during. And if and when we do get the promotion, we enjoy our reward way more than we would have enjoyed our time binge watching every evening and not working. 3 benefits of delayed gratification at work include: delayed gratification makes us learn and grow. Delayed gratification makes us grow in 3 ways. First, instant gratification makes us do the things that we've always done or in the same way. Delayed gratification encourages us to look for other things, which could be some new knowledge or new skills, and for other ways of doing things, which could be more efficient and productive. The second way delaying our satisfaction for later makes us grow is by convincing us that certain skills need time to be learned or improved. If we need to take a course on a specific skill that we need in our work, being led by instant gratification stops us from taking on the challenge altogether. Instead, by relinquishing our need for instant gratification and accepting that the benefit we get from this one is going to take a while, makes us give the course the time and effort that it needs. The third way delayed gratification helps us grow is because it makes us realize whether let's take the same example of a course that we need for our work, if this skill is really needed for our job or to give our company a competitive advantage, or whether it is just a fad and it will go away quicker than it appeared. In this way, it makes us invest our time and effort on things that are important and that are going to make a difference. Delayed gratification encourages teamwork. Long, challenging, or complex projects require that we work with other people as they need different types and areas of expertise. As such, we have to let go of instant gratification. And when this happens, when instant gratification is off the table, we tend to cause less friction in our collaborative work. Delayed gratification encourages engagement. Delayed gratification can make us become more mindful of our surroundings, of our present moment, of our relationships with our colleagues. By delaying gratification, we become more likely to engage in any interaction with colleagues, to enjoy every moment of the work we're doing, and to intentionally work toward a future goal. The reason why earlier I mentioned the studies done on delayed gratification is because, firstly, they show that the ability to postpone gratification can be learned. And secondly, I think those are indeed the factors that influence our decision of going for either instant or delayed gratification. So we can use these factors to learn to delay gratification. So how can we learn to delay gratification? Firstly, focus on the near future. When we set long-term goals, but positioned in a future far ahead of us, we might lose track of our current work and the reason why we're doing it. Instead, we should focus more on long-term goals for a nearer future. We might, and sometimes we should, have goals for our far future, but we should have goals for our near future too. As a matter of fact, think of these near future goals as constituting the far future goals. What this does is, firstly, it's more motivating to work on small, shorter term goals, one after the other, all leading up to a big, longer term goal. Secondly, by dividing a big, longer term goal into several small, shorter term ones, we create a timeline, much like a project timeline, and each time we actually see the shorter term goals being achieved like important milestones. Secondly, take care of you. If we go to the supermarket when we are hungry, what happens is we end up buying more items that we intended to, and with probably more unhealthy food items. Similarly, when we don't take care of our basic needs on a daily basis, we tend to go for instant gratification activities at work too. If we haven't slept enough, we might decide to skip on a meeting. We value the instant gratification of not sitting through a meeting and taking a nap instead, but in the grand scheme of things, by not going to the meeting, we might have missed something important that could have sped up our promotion. Fulfilling our basic needs first for our physiological and psychological well-being makes us less impulsive and hence more prone to postpone pleasure for a bigger reward later on. Third, build trust. One of the factors that make us decide to delay gratification at work is believing that our work environment is trustful. If we do not trust that our superiors have our best interest at heart, first, we might think that we have to do tasks that will show immediate or short-term results, leaving little to no time for long-term goals. And second, even if we do have the opportunity of dedicating some of our time to long-term goals, we might struggle with the motivation to put in the work to achieve them. On the other hand, when we trust our superiors, we believe that they want us to succeed, which will allow us to sacrifice some short-term goals for a long-term career. Another person we need to trust in the process is ourselves. If we tend to give in to instant gratification because this is what we've always done, then we will never know what delayed gratification can make us achieve unless we try. Sometimes this might take more than a few tries to get to really believe in our ability to postpone our pleasure to a near future. But the important thing is to keep trying until we manage to do it. Something that helps is starting out with little projects. If we know that a repetitive task that we do could be automated, but we haven't had the time to do it, we could decide to spend a few hours after work or during the weekend to automate it. This task could be a very small part of our job, but actually doing it makes us believe in ourselves, believe in our ability to go through some pain in the present by working some extra hours instead of, going to a bar for a drink, which then leads to the benefit of an easier and less time-consuming task in the future. Fourth, choose the right people. One of the factors that studies found to influence the decision to delay gratification was reputation management. During a few examples from my own experience, I have had the chance of working with both people that I admired and people that I did not, to put it bluntly. In my work with the people that I admired for being not only excellent in what they did, but also decent human beings, I noticed my thinking was more oriented towards the future. Whereas when I worked with people who I did not, for one reason or another, have the same level of admiration for, I could not bother to think about long-term goals. And instead, I would work on short-term tasks because those quick results kept them happy. I have had the same experience over and over again in my work, and I know plenty of other people who share the same experience with me. This is one of the reasons why choosing the right environment with the right people for us becomes crucial for our career. Fifth, reward yourself. In the work setting, delayed gratification when spending time on skills and abilities that would give us a promotion, for example, gives us the promotion as the reward. But sometimes, especially when the process takes a long time or a lot of effort, another reward might be just what we need to push us through. We could include a reward outside of work, like a trip somewhere or a purchase that we've been wanting to make, or we could decide on a single but bigger reward, depending, of course, on the project that we've taken on. Just decide at the very beginning of this process what and when we will get this one big reward or these multiple rewards, and then at the end, once we've reached the finish line, we materialize those rewards. Sixth, make a game out of it. For those who prefer gamification, there is the Seinfeld strategy. This strategy is named after the famous American comedian Jerry Seinfeld, the co-creator of the series Seinfeld, who used this strategy himself. The idea is that practice makes perfect. So first we get a wall calendar and put it on a wall where we can see it every day. For every day that we defer gratification, which means for every day that we are working on our long-term goals, we put a big red X on that day. After a few days, we have created a chain. Our job then becomes not breaking the chain. We can use this strategy for any habit that we want to incorporate in our daily life. And practicing delayed gratification is nothing but a habit. There you have it. Using these 6 suggestions can help us learn or become better at delayed gratification. This is all for this video. I will see you in the next one.